Hi, I'm Mike Brown, and I'm running for Town Council on March 11th, 2008. Thanks for joining me. I'd like to take this opportunity to spend some time with you folks and talk to you a little bit about who I am, what I stand for, and more importantly, why you should consider voting for me for Town Council this year. First thing I'd like to do is give you a little bit of personal background on myself, introduce myself to you. I've been a Londonderry resident for 17 wonderful years now. I am married with 2 children in the Londonderry School District. I have a daughter who's a sophomore in high school and a son who's an 8th grader in the middle school. I am a member of St. Jude Parish right here in Londonderry. I'm also a member of the Londonderry Taxpayers Association in town. I'm the host producer of a local cable television show that you've probably seen before called Focus on Londonderry. I'm also a monthly columnist in the Derry News, doing a column called Our Towns, talking about Londonderry issues. You may have seen that. And personally, I'm employed as a project manager at a software company in Massachusetts. I am going to spend the next 15 minutes or so talking to you about what I stand for and trying to relay to you the importance of your vote for me as a candidate for Town Council. My background and vision. I strongly believe that all of us should strive to give back to our community in whatever way we can. It just so happens that my contribution to Londonderry has come by way of public service and civic responsibility. I view this volunteer effort as a duty that is both honorable and important. Having served a successful 3-year term on the Town Council from 2002 to 2005, I am intimately aware of what it takes to serve in this important capacity on behalf of all the residents and taxpayers of Londonderry. My vision for this wonderful community, then and now, is exactly the same. Represent the best interests of our residents in a fiscally responsible fashion and ensure that Londonderry residents retain the high quality of life and rural aesthetics that brought most of us here. Experience counts. You may see some of my signs around town, and that is the tagline that I have on my signs. And the reason I have that there is it says it all about my ability to do this job. I have spent the last 8 consecutive years volunteering in the community I love in a wide variety of ways. What that brings to prospective voters in March is the broadest background and deepest set of community service skills in this year's council race. A vote for Mike Brown is truly a vote to put a working councilor into office with no training required. The results would be immediate. My civic resume includes currently a member of the Budget Committee from 2005 to present, and I was chair of that committee in 2006. Zoning Board from 2001 to the present, and I'm currently chair of that board. Served on the Town Council successfully for 3 years from 2002 to 2005, last serving as vice chair in 2005. Planning Board member from 2002 to 2004 as the council representative. Heritage Commission 2005 as the council representative. Member of the Open Space Task Force for 2006, citizen at large. And lastly, I served on the South Fire Station Building Committee in 2006 as a representative from the Budget Committee. My priorities. When it comes to what type of counselor I would be, the following priorities best represent what voters can expect during the next 3 years should you elect me. I view all of these as being equally important. Strong fiscal management, limited spending, and stable taxes. Proactively manage growth through intelligent planning and zoning. Preserve our rural character and protect our quality of life. And promote appropriate commercial development in appropriate areas. Let's talk about specifics. Spending and taxes. While there are many that call themselves a fiscal conservative, I walk the walk in this area. As a member of the Budget Committee during the last 3 years, I played a key role in helping to drive the leanest town and school budgets in recent memory. Also during my tenure, the Budget Committee for the first time started to provide advisory input to the town and school district on labor agreements. Given the annual costs and tax impacts associated with these contracts, this was a significant step forward for the Budget Committee and was long overdue. I personally led this charge as chair in 2006. In addition, I also played an active role in compiling the most comprehensive set of actionable financial data the town's Budget Committee has ever produced. A quick visit to the Budget Committee website at londonderrynh.org will show the culmination of this effort. This includes an interactive spreadsheet called the Taxpayer White Paper. For the first time ever, Londonderry taxpayers had an opportunity to see where every single dollar of their tax bill was being spent among the various town and school departments. Committee work aside, my public positions and votes over the last 3 years on the Budget Committee were made in accordance with conservative fiscal values. If I felt that a budget item, warrant article, or labor contract was not in the financial best interests of the majority of the taxpayers I represented, I did not support it. If, on the other hand, I felt that proper due diligence and thorough vetting was performed on any given item, I voted to support it accordingly. Regardless of the outcomes, the public comments and feedback I received in advance of my votes were always considered. I commit to doing the same as a town councilor. In summary, I view the town as a public corporation whose shares are owned by every taxpayer in Londonderry. It is the responsibility of the town council to ensure that every one of those shares is managed in a fiscally responsible fashion. Just like we are forced to budget differently in our own personal lives when economic times are challenging, like they are now, I strongly believe the town must do the same when it comes to budgets, warrant articles, and labor agreements. The status quo is simply no longer an option to our taxpayers. If elected, you will get that from Mike Brown. Land use planning. As noted in my civic resume earlier in the show, I have a significant amount of experience in this critical area. My first volunteer position in town was on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, where I still serve today as chair. It was there that I saw firsthand how important it is that our community has a well-thought-out zoning ordinance backed by a consistent master plan. In my opinion, we currently do. I believe it's critical that we continue to maintain the appropriate separation of commercial and industrial activities from the residential district, i.e., people's homes. I am strongly opposed to commercial creep and would not support efforts to allow such activities to encroach upon the areas where people currently live. Given the amount of available commercial